Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. We'll look at the S&P and the Nasdaq as normal. On the weekly chart here, we've got two counts to the upside. One of them from wave 4 to wave 5 up here is just the simple impulse wave of 1 and 2 here, and then having the third wave the longest, and then the fourth, and then the fifth up here. And between wave 2 and wave 3 here, we're looking for 5 waves. So we have wave 1 and 2 in here. We're going up for the third wave, then there'll be the fourth and the fifth. As I say, don't worry about these target areas that I'm looking at. It's just that this wave 1 here, we would need to see wave 3 here longer. If wave 3 is not longer, then we'll need to look at this wave 1 here over here and these five waves up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 up here. So we'll be looking at this. So we've got those two counts, both bullish, except obviously this one here has a bit of a deeper pullback, which is an inconvenience to say the least. So let's go look at these two counts and see how they're progressing and what we need to look for. So let's have a look at this one here first as wave 1 up here. So we can do that on this one here, I think. Yeah, so this would be here. Now the thing here is that currently this wave 3 here is shorter than wave 1. So that means that if wave 3 is going to be shorter than wave 1, that means wave 5 here needs to be shorter than wave 3 here. So in a bit of a nutshell, if we just take this low here as a bit of a yardstick, so that's the length of wave 3. So we would need to see this move up here. We would need to see it less than this move from here to here on this. Okay, so we need to see this move here, this one here, we need to see it less than that. So that's one way of looking at it. Yeah, so that's it really in a bit of a nutshell. We can look at all of this. It doesn't really matter which count we've got on the intraday basis, because we're just counting impulse waves to the upside. So but yeah, that would if this push through, if this move up here in terms of 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and so on, and moved up higher than this, then we'd need to look at the other count and the other bullish count. So that would bring us over to here. We do have a bearish count as well, but we don't need to look at that today because we've got impulse waves to the upside here that still are not completed, so they still need to go higher. So this is the other count here, where we look at this here as wave 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2, so going from 1, 2, 3 up here, and then 4 and 5, and between wave 3 and 2 we're looking for, that's intermediate degree, we're looking for minor degree here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2, and we'll need 3, 4 and 5 up here for this one. And of course we could take this higher and all these sorts of things. Okay, so like I say, always don't worry too much about, this is just a bit of a mud map to give us a bit of perspective, nothing more. Don't worry about things, but obviously we always like to look at big numbers. So currently we're looking at the 5,800. It carries a bit of weight, this particular number, but obviously the 6,000 is something that most folks will be sort of eyeballing off. But yeah, that's sort of where we are at the moment with this. So, and between wave 2 here and wave 3 here, we're looking for 5 waves of 1 and 2. And I could put this here and make it 3 here and 4 here. I could do that and bring this one down here for wave, down here for wave 5. But you can see the problem. Wave 3 becomes very short at that point. Could we put this down here as wave 5 at that point? Have this, the other counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think that's the case based on what I need to see with other markets. Just I'm just looking at the Russell because it's just here at the moment, just not just as an example, but for the Russell here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll need to see a minimum move like that. So to have a smaller market, so we couldn't just have one more move here. It wouldn't make sense to the general market, so to speak, So we need to just be a little bit positive and put these up here somewhere. Yeah, something like that. So, and this becomes a little wave one in here, and we'll look at this next. But they're the two basic counts, okay, to the upside. And like I say, we do have the bearish one that a handful of members put in, but we don't need to look at that today because we're in this bullish thing. Our main thing at the moment is getting support on the 5,800. That's the next step to the upside. And getting support always takes a little bit of sort of movement. So if this was the 5-8 here, this is the most common pattern. So, coming up and hitting it and coming back and coming up to here and then pulling back. I think this is where we are at the moment. Coming down here, we'll need to do this and having these tops here. This top here I don't think is in place yet. I just have to remember. But yeah, we need, we're basically, we need to be over this side, migrating from resistance to support over here. The other count here is having it like this here. This is reasonably common, but I don't know if we're going to get this, but we always take the high and then the second high for the entry. So it's good to understand that little pattern. We're going to go in and have a look at that now. So taking this one, I'll just check on if I've updated this one here. Okay, so you can see, well, in this case here, this is the sort of longer term count here where we got wave 3 up here. We want this wave 2 to wave 3 here. In this instance, we want it longer than this wave 1 here. So we definitely want it above the 6,000 as a rough estimate. Yeah, but the next step here, if we look at this as, because the other count would be looking at this as wave 4 here, right? So that's the difference. But I'm just going to plonk that back up there. In the meantime, we've got 1 and 2, and we've got 1 and 2 here, and then going up for wave 3 and 4 and 5 up here. Something, it may go this high. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, the 5-8 here, you can see how it hit here. So that's the arrival, this is the reaction, this is the first high above the level. So we should be looking at some sort of little, I'm probably exaggerating the size of it, some sort of little ABC and then up here. But basically, that second top here is what we could be looking for. We'll go and have a look at that in the moment. There is a case to put wave 1 over here, by the way, and this will be another little wave 1 up here as well. So not that it matters a lot at this stage. We're going to go in, drill in on 20 times that. So here we go here. I think last time we spoke we were around here somewhere on the Friday, I can't remember exactly, but yeah, so from this blue wave 2 here going up to blue wave 3, excuse the mess, this one here, I'll just push this up here. Yeah, that 6,000 will sort of come to life a little bit later on, so it'll be something like that. I'll just push this over here, don't worry about them. So yeah, that's this. And when we talk about 5-8, when we talk about 800, the third strongest number, we always talk about group 1 above, 1, 2, 3, and group 2 below being the supportive thing. And when we went through all this over here, we talked about this. This will become the support over here for this. So if we take the low here, which we should do, just near enough, it's good enough, and this top here, then it's quite possible for this to pull back to the 50-60%. Okay, so that's that's possible. But the thing is that if Friday was strong, then that momentum's going to be there. So it's probably not likely this is going to come down this far. But at the same time, we talked about having, this group 2 here as the support. So that would be a little bit more realistic if this came down here. So you can clearly count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up there. Well, in fact, we could actually put this as wave 4 over here, because this, obviously this makes a nice wave 1, but this one here, you could have it as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 and have this third wave over here. But even if that was the case and we went up here further and then we had our ABC, what I'm trying to say is that this lower end of group 2 here will be the support. So that will be 5, 7, 6, 5. Now, that said, the next important thing when we're talking about numbers is that if that's a level, we always look for the spike lower than the level to come down. So, and then we'd put a stop under that. Even though the stop's here at the moment. So just don't go putting it on that number. That's all I'm saying. So technically, Elliott wave stuff, it can come this low, but this would be more realistic, and it may not even come that low either here. So this little move down here is becoming a little wave A. I'm not sure how far that comes down, how it's going to open. It looks like it needs to come down a little bit further. And then that B wave here, we could put that entry on the B wave here. You might even get the next impulse wave up here and get a little classic trading levels pattern on 5, 8, 10 here as well for this. So many roads to Rome. But in a nutshell, we want that 5, 8 to become the support. So this is the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, some sort of ABC that could come back down into here and then move up again. So we've got a few positions down here and all that sort of stuff. So we just really want to add another one. And then once this 8-3 here, once the top of group 1 becomes the support, short-term traders can look to add on top of that with a classic trading levels pattern there as well. And then, of course, between 800 and 900, we have 1, 2, 3, 5 here, the midpoint, the 50, and then the 8 here for that. There'll also be a group 2 here as well, the 65 and 72 in there. So we'll just do the colouring in on this and put that there. That will become important later on. The routine to the upside. So yeah, look, all pretty sort of simple at this point for this market, and pretty much most stock will be following this, but not all stock. So this is the same for the Nasdaq as well. Nasdaq has got carrying a little bit more weight in that the S&P has cleared this top over here. It hasn't done that with this particular market. This particular market is working with a larger number, the 20,000 here. So yeah, I'm not sure about this here. I think this could be another little wave 1 coming into play here, but it hasn't really come back. This trend here hasn't really come back and retested anything here, so just be a bit mindful. Worst case scenario to come back at that point, and we'll have to put wave 2 over to here. But all in all, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 and 1 and small wave 2 here took this trend line from here and put it here, so here and then pushing up. So if you're lucky, you'll get something like this. And this is also the 20,300 here. So this is also group 1 and group 2 here of this number. So getting support on this one here will enable you to add another position as well. So I'll just plonk that up there. But once again, here you would need the first high above the level. So it spent a fair bit of time in the accumulation phase here below the level. So it may not spend a lot of time, pulling back once it made its high in this case. Normally we would see something like this, coming here and then going up and would go along here. But in this case, because of that accumulation phase there, it's got already done a lot of work there. So it could be just something like that, that secondary pattern that we look at here, this particular one here could be something. It's highly likely that it will be something like this. So just be a little bit mindful that that once you've got the high here, then use it because it will get sort of breached. But all in all here, everything's going according to plan, and it's just reacting from that high there. And once it gets supported up at 300, then it severs itself from being pulled by this one. That's the psychology of it. And you'll just see that unfold in watching the market depth. You'll just see that, and you'll start to see the orders build up at this next level here, number 5. You know, that's where that will come into play. But that's the Nasdaq. We'll take a closer look at these in the indices video next anyway. So we've got, coming into the stock here, we've got Apple. This can be a 2 or 4 here. We're counting this up as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. It's looking pretty ugly as a 4th wave, so that makes it look good for a 4th wave. The other way you could count this would be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, so we'll just see how far it pulls back. This number 3 here is also group 1 of the 200 here. I know it looks like a long way away, but getting support on this number stops any pull from that big 200 down there. And you know, maybe third time lucky, it's already tried it first. Having the first high above the level doesn't make it support. You know, it's the retest that makes it support at that point. So we'll see just how that sort of plays out. But yeah, it didn't move up on Friday, but at least it consolidated, so that's something. But we're looking for that 230 to become the support, and then we can look to go long above the top here, or on the B wave top here, or if time willing, we've got the top of this next little impulse wave here for this. So we'll just see how long that takes more so. Amazon here. So once again, we can have this as 2 or 4 here. And I won't go into the big details. You know, we've got 2 counts on the indices. That sort of pretty much flows through to, not all stock, but most stocks. Doesn't flow through to Nvidia. I don't really think it flows through to Apple, but we'll keep an eye on it. Tesla's had a bit of a road crash, and that needs to come down further. But we've got a nice impulse wave here for Amazon. There's probably a couple of different ways to count it, but I've just got it as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here, and then a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1, and coming back for 2 in that case. You know, we're a bit cheeky and got one on the turn here, but you know, the rest of the market was turning anyway, so you know, we're pretty safe at that point. From 1000 we'll go to 100 just to pull that apart a little bit there. And you know, I mean, there can be different ways to count this little trend up here, but this is the way I've got it. I mean, I could have wave 4 here and wave 5 over here on this one. It didn't finish off very nicely, so it's possible to have wave 1 here. I get it. And we'll keep an eye on that, but otherwise we'll put the blue wave 1 up here. It's a little bit lagging on all of that. It does look like 1, 2, 3, 4. I could put wave 4 here, and it could just go straight up here, or I prefer the bad news and go here first, so maybe it's just something like that. I don't know how it's going to open, but either way, this is at 190, this is the arrival, this is the reaction. It may get bigger, we know what wave 4s are like, and then some type of, you know, corrective move here. And once again, we've got that beautiful consolidation within group 2, because I always call 8 a profit taking number, and that what that does, it also helps that, you know, support over here, that memory of support over here. Well, it's a bit more than a memory really, but that's that. So a classic trading levels pattern across the 190, and then it should just get sucked up to 200 at that point. So that could be a nice little trade for a swing trader, or you know, short-term trader at that point. So that's where we are there. And because we've got this impulse wave here, that's nice, you know. Means we'll get another 5 waves over here. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we could already be in them from here as 1 and 2 in this point here. You know, that's quite possible. I get it. Anyway, that's looking good. And then we come over to Nvidia. So Nvidia's definitely got a different count here, so we can look at this as wave 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, 4th and 5th. So once again, we'll get a classic trading levels pattern up here as well. So from the 1 day, we're going to go into 1000 now that you've picked that up here, and we've got this wave 1 and 2 here on this. And Yeah, look, once again, there's different ways to count this to the upside. I don't like this small wave one here. I don't like that at all. I mean, I'd rather put it sort of over here for that. But I'll just kind of watch it a little bit further, monitor it, is probably the right word. But yeah, we should be seeing further upside. We didn't see a lot on Friday. Yeah, so we'll see. I've got little wave 1 and 2 here. That will give us 3, 4, 5 up here for the third, the fourth here, and then the fifth up here for this third and this fourth. Now, that may be the case. It may not. It's the most sort of obvious one, but I don't like that small wave 1 here like this because, as I mentioned before, this wave, blue wave 1 in wave 3 here should be bigger than this one here, but this was never clear here anyway, you know. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So this one here, you know, this one here should be bigger. So it should really be up here somewhere for that at least. So something's not quite right here, but at the same time, we have a trend to the upside, and you know, I'm not seeing any sort of bearish signal. Sure, it looks a little bit soft at the top there, but you know, we'll just and it may melt a little bit further. We'll see how that plays out, but still, it's a nice trend to the upside. And the other thing here is that the 130 there, it hasn't really tested. It gave a bit of a test here. So that shows a lot of strength. It may even just come back here. You know, maybe I've got to put this sort of up here somewhere. I mean, that's low there, so it's 5 waves. So yeah, still got to go up further. But I was just wondering if I could put wave 4 here, you know, for a test on this 130. But anyway, I think that's okay. We'll just see how that goes. Meta platform. So yeah, we've got 1 and 2 and I've made this one here wave 4 because it's just getting a bit bigger, and it could also get a bit bigger as well. And then wave 5 here for this. So a little bit of a different count, but we'll go to the 100 here. We'll pick it up in this area here. So last time we spoke here, I had this here as this wave 4 over here. It's still possible, but it's just getting a little bit too big and deep. So I've this was a little bit sort of messy in here, so I could even probably put that there, but then I've got overlapping wave structures here. So once again, you know, it's always been a bit messy, this all of this. Oh, that's okay. That's 5. That's 5. It's pretty clear. That's pretty clear. It's just messy in here. So anyway, I'll just continue to tweak it. The main point here, though, is that 2 points. This wave 4 could get uglier. Could end up over here. I don't know. It does not like it's giving me a nice impulse wave here. It looks like impulse wave here. So it could end up over here. But the main point here is that we will be looking for the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level within group 1, 10, 20, and 30, and then some type of ABC here, and then up again. So when we don't need to do anything here, okay? So nothing to no action required here at this point. So we can do nothing at this point. So we don't even want to chase it up the top here. You know, I think we've got a few positions down here somewhere, but look, we don't want to chase it up here. We just want to get through this. So we'll just let this storm pass, and once we get over to here, we'll start looking at stuff. You know, we kind of want to get up to the medium level here, the 650. So we'll see how that goes. So nothing to do at this stage with this. And Netflix. So last time we spoke, we were looking for a little top here. We're counting up as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we're looking at the A waves in, the B wave, and the C wave here, and then we'll go up again. We'll be able to bring that B wave trigger down here somewhere. We may even be able to bring it, get a better crack at it a little bit further down here as well. Just go from 100 ticks to 10 ticks just to explain that top here a little bit. So it'll be like this here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, pretty clear. So A and a B and a C here. The B wave B wave's a bit like wave 4, so they can sort of just, you know, they can give an ABC, and then that ABC becomes the A wave, and then we've got to put the B wave over here and the C wave. So they can just double in size. So you don't trade B waves unless they're humongous ones. That's a different story. But some sort of A wave here, the quality of wave C in terms of length and everything should take us down into into this area here. So anyway, we'll wait for another session. We'll try to catch it. Once we've got an impulse wave here, then we can look to move into it at that point. Okay, so Alphabet and Microsoft I can't really help with. Okay, I'll say that up front. So whatever I say at this point is really just in the guessing game situation. If we get support on top of 165, then we could look at a long trade. Now we've got a little ABC pattern here. It does appear that it's got 5 waves up here, but this little move in here is not giving me a nice clean 5 waves. So we haven't reached our 50-60%. So it basically, we could end up coming up here and then coming down before going up again. Okay, so I don't know at this point, so I can't say with any confidence. So I'm just going to pass on this, and I'm going to pass on Microsoft. But I do want to talk about Microsoft. The wave 4 has pulled back to the 38.2% over here, and this is where the rest of the world has been as well. This is where the rest of I can't put wave 4 over here. I could, but then it's going to be way out of whack, and I just don't see any reason to unhinge it from the timing of the rest of the market, especially when it's not doing anything wrong. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't really have it doesn't have competition like Tesla does with, BYD and a flood of other EVs coming onto the market and, all of that sort of stuff. So, it's somehow we've got to kind of make it bullish, but at the same time we've got to kind of understand that it's not finished yet. It's not really giving us what we want. I could go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 at this point, but as such, it's got too much time here compared to this move here. So whichever way, obviously we'd look at it as an A wave here, an ABC for the B wave, and then bring it down to here. I think it can come down and test the 400. That's not an issue, and maybe it just goes straight up from here. That would be nice, but it doesn't seem to be wanting to go anywhere. That's the actual top here in the aftermarket, that one there, rather than that one, even though that on this platform it just doesn't have the aftermarket sitting on there at this point. So it's a little bit of a mystery, this one here for me. I can't really sort of play it out. I don't know which way to go on it, so I can't really sort of help on this. I think it's something like that, but I don't know yet. I can count 5 waves in here, but it's not strong enough to work anything off yet. So I'm just going to have to pass on this. So don't really listen to anything I said there. And Tesla's had a strong move down, so I just thought we'd go back to our triangle pattern. Many folks beforehand have mentioned the triangle pattern, and it's looking quite good at this point. So this is sort of a weekly chart, 2 weekly chart, two things. So I'll put it on 2 days here. So it'd be something like this here. So we could probably view this as some sort of move down to here, which we'll take a closer look at in a moment, and then a B wave, and then a C wave here for this, and then finish. So it's probably something like this here. I don't know the reason it fell strongly down here, but on Friday I mentioned that and not getting into politics at all, but Elon has taken a side on the political spectrum, and that's, as I mentioned, that's like football teams. People are passionate about what they support and all these sorts of things. So I don't think I think he'd be losing out on the Democrats buying his car. That's what I was trying to say. And that's a big market, isn't it? That's kind of like half the market, really. So I don't know if that's the reason that this fell out of bed. We know that the the Chinese are surrounding all Western countries with their vehicles, and we'll see. But yeah, so that's that, and let's just go into the intraday here for this. I'm sure there's some sort of reason for that market falling out of bed. So looking at this here as if somebody else has got another count for this, then send it through. I mean, I can still have a bullish count for all of this, by the way, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Yeah, so a little something like this here coming down here, and then some sort of bounce off here. So I don't know how high it's going to go, and then down here. But yeah, something of this nature. Looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here. I mean, you could WXY it, I guess, as well. You could pretty much do anything you wanted with it, really. But at the end of the day, it has dropped, and it's got to come down further. And obviously, the 200 is the support, and then there'll be some sort of bounce off that. How high it goes is always a bit of a mystery. We'll look at the 50, 60%, but we'll look at the structure of it as well, and we'll see. But this is kind of what I'm thinking at this point with this. It doesn't matter anyway. There's no long trade here for this. Okay, that brings us over to Bitcoin, and with Bitcoin we can have a few things here. First of all, we could view it as a bearish move here. We could look at this as an A and a B and a C wave up here, and come down here and have this wave 4 over here. But once again, it's a bit like sort of Microsoft. I just don't think it's the case, because it will just the timing of everything will be too far out. So I don't think that's the case. We've either got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and we're going up for 3 here. And last week we're looking for this ABC thing here, and we'll have a look at that in a moment. So we can either do it like this, or we can look at it in the count that we've got with the Nasdaq and the S&P and all of that, and look at it like this here. This is another way to look at it. It doesn't hurt to have a look at these things. So as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 waves up here for wave 5 to make 1 and 2 at this point. So that's just another possibility for this, Anyway, just some thought, I mean, my thing has always been, if we get support on 65, which is the medium level, then, trend traders can move in and go long. Any new drop, well, then the hodlers can come in and, start stacking sats, so everybody's got everybody's doing different things. So that's that. If we go into the intraday and just have a look at this, not this one, sorry about that, it's hasn't been updated since day dot. This one here, this is the one. So yeah, last week we were looking at, over the month we've been counting up here for wave 1, and then we're counting down here for wave A, and then we had a little A, B, and C here for the B wave, and it come down into the little box here, so that's all good. And it does look like we've got a nice impulse wave here now, so that's all good. I haven't actually pulled this apart, so we could end up seeing this. It'll probably just move up, but don't get shocked if it comes down to the 50-60% mark and then moves off here. But this impulse wave here helps verify that this here is an A and a B and a C wave, so that's nice. So hopefully we can get support on this, and like I said, I'm just not quite sure about the bigger picture with all of this, but what we can say is that, and do, is that if we look at this here, this is wave 1 and 2 here, 2 may even be in, this 65 is going to give it a hard time, but we should somehow surface with some sort of wave 3 here, and wave 4 and wave 5. So the longer term traders could view this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then we'll have to watch for the ABC pattern here. I don't know how big it's going to get, but that would just be the normal sort of size there. But once we can, verify that we've got an ABC pattern here, then, some serious long trades can come in once we start getting an impulse wave up this side here. This will be the, because this is interesting, because what will happen here, if we get, this is either going to be another wave 1 up here, where we've got wave 1 here and 2 here. Then what will happen with this, it will be wave 1 up here and 2 here. This will be one side of it. The other count that we just had a look at will make this wave 1 here and will bring wave 2 deeper here. So it's not a big difference, but they'll be the two counts. Alrighty, that's it. Long video, but we did it. We got through it. Okay, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the week ahead. Cheers.